In what ways did your life change forever?
You know, that's an interesting question because I think that I know that the audience for this is largely going to be people who practice medicine and who see people like me. And I think that one message I have tried to communicate in my writing and in my public speaking is that everything changes when you're diagnosed with cancer. I think that in so many ways, the experience is not about cancer. And I think that that gets missed a lot. So, for example, um, the first way that my life changed is that there's an incredible sense of loneliness and isolation you feel when you're diagnosed, especially when you're diagnosed at 29. You know, we're surrounded by messages that suggest the status quo is health and happiness. And suddenly, you're not living in that world anymore, especially with people your own age who, from my perspective, didn't have a care in the world. You know, when I went to support groups to try to kind of try that avenue to have some kind of emotional foundation, the women were much older than me. They couldn't relate to me. So I'm trying to go to graduate school, trying to go to classes, and my hair is falling out. So I wore a baseball cap, and it changed everything. I mean, it changed what I studied. It was the summer after my first full year in a graduate program, a PhD program, and all of my research and all of my work shifted almost overnight towards examining messages that are communicated both in the medical environment and also in the media. And it just, it changed everything. You know, there's a, not to wax, you know, scholarly here, but there's a very well-known medical sociologist. He's Canadian. His name is Arthur Frank. And I love his work. And what he says is that, again, this whole idea that the status quo narrative in this culture, biomedical model, is that we're healthy and we're happy. And that if something does happen to us, we will be restored. So he talks about the restitution narrative. And the idea of the restitution narrative is what you see in any advertisement for any medication. You know, you have a cold today, take the medicine, the cold medicine, and in a couple of days you'll be back to where you were. That doesn't happen after a cancer diagnosis or any major diagnosis of a disease that's going to change your life forever. There is no going back. And that, I think, if I had to say that is the one enduring change, it's that after a diagnosis of cancer, and I've heard other cancer survivors say this as well, you're never carefree again. You're never that sort of, you know, I can take on the world and nothing will hurt me, and at the end of the day I'll be okay, because you receive the diagnosis. You hear the words, you have cancer. You're told the odds of survival. You know, your life is just never, it's never the same again.